Welcome back. We've all heard that the occasional glass of wine may do wonders for your health, right? Well, in the case of today's guest, you could say his cup or his glass runneth over. He is the founder and the CEO of Montvale-based Winebow. Take a look at that. It's one of the leading importers of Italian wine. Right now you're looking at video of one of those sprawling vineyards in Italy with which Winebow does business. And with that, I would like to welcome Leonard Locascio. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Eric. Nice to be here.
That video of those vineyards, it's gorgeous. It must be beautiful out there. You started business in 1980. How did you decide to get into this?
Well, I was looking for an opportunity to combine a profession with a lifestyle. I was working for Citibank at the time in their credit card operation, and I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to wake up in the morning and feel a real passion for what I was doing, and wine called, and I answered the call.
Now, you're a Jersey guy now by way of Palermo.
Yes, I was born and raised in Palermo, but I went to school in the States. I studied at NYU and then got an MBA from the University of Chicago.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the business in terms of volume, in terms of revenue. What kind of business are you doing right now?
Well, this year our sales are going to be around $240 million.
Compare that to back when you started.
Well, when I started, it was very modest. You know, I still remember the first time that we broke $1 million, and then 2, and then 4, and then 10. But it has taken us almost 30 years to get to this point.
All right, so 200 million now. What are your hopes for the coming year? How much growth would you like to accomplish?
Well, the economy notwithstanding, you know, if things stay on track and if we don't have any more deterioration in the exchange rate with the dollar and so on, I can see our business going north of $250, $260 million next year.
Now, you mentioned the economy. This is one of those things that seems to have gotten a lot of play lately, especially when it comes to discretionary spending.
Right.
People are spending so much money on gas these days that they're choosing what they need and what they want. And one of the things that they still seem to be buying is wine and liquor.
That is correct.
Okay, so are you afraid that it's going to get to a point, though, where people will say, you know what, we can't even do this? No,
not so much. You know, I think that if you are a wine drinker, it's a small luxury that you can afford, that gives you a lot of pleasure, adds a lot of psychic income to your life. So maybe you won't be going out to eat as often as you would in good economic times, but if you're a wine lover, then you're just going to have the bottle of wine at home.
All right, so you've been doing this now for it's going to be 30 years, another couple of years, right?
Pretty soon.
So how do you choose the wine? How do you choose the vineyard that you decide you want to do business with?
Well, we have a number of criteria, Eric. One of the things that I look for is family-owned and operated vineyards. I like the idea of dealing with people that...
We're actually showing some of these pictures right now of some of the vineyards that you do business with.
Right. I like the idea of dealing with people that, you know, for them is their business, is their life. If there is ever a problem or an opportunity, I like to be able to sit down across the table with somebody that I've known for a long time. I love the fact that right now we're doing business in Italy with people that were children when I started. You know, it's second generation, and in a couple of cases, a third generation for me. And that to me is very important. That's one criteria. Another criteria is that the wine needs to over-deliver. You know, I love it when people tell me, Leonardo, I had a bottle of your wine, I paid $15 and it tasted like a $25 bottle of wine. When that happens, and it happens a lot, I feel that I've done my job properly.
Now, you are a distributor.
We are an importer and a distributor.
Okay, and you recently sealed a deal with Click.
Yes.
So talk about that. Why did you go after Click?
Okay. Well, first of all...
Which is another distributor?
It's another importer.
Importer, okay.
Yes. As an importer, we secure exclusive rights to represent these brands all over the United States, and we sell them to distributors all over the United States. We have distribution in all 50 markets. In 6 of those markets, we are our own distributor. That's why we are an importer and a distributor. Why Click? Well, Click has been very successful in developing brands that they create in partnership with the wineries that supply the wines. So there is a common interest with the supplier, And the wines really do over-deliver. I don't know if you have ever seen some of the brands. Fat Bastard is one. It's got a crazy name. It's got this hippo on the label. But you know what? For $11 or $12 retail, for a really nice glass of Chardonnay or Merlot or Pinot Noir or Shiraz, you can't find much better than that. So that's one project. They have another one in Chile called Root One, because those wines come from ungrafted rootstock. You know, one of the few places in the world that has not, where the vineyards have not been hit by this bug, you know, called the phylloxera. So they're working with original vines, you know, from 100 years ago.
Well, quick aside, how many vineyards do you do business with right now?
From Italy, we have the exclusive import rights for about 65 properties.
Okay.
And that combined means about 420 different wines, because every property will make more than just one wine. They'll make a couple of whites, a couple of reds, maybe a rosé or two, you know.
What do we have right here on our desk?
Well, this is just a sampling of our most popular wines, starting with our Pinot Grigio, Chris. That's made in the Alto Adige region. It's made where Italy and Austria intersect, and is very popular.
What would you say the most popular is?
For us, that's the one.
That is
okay.
The
one. We're going to be selling in excess of 3 million bottles of that particular wine this year.
And you're going to be branching out as well. You're not just going to be importing from Italy anymore, correct?
That is correct. Italy has been our historic vocation, and we intend to stay very strong and very focused on Italy. But 3 years ago, we added a portfolio of Spanish wines. This year, we're launching a portfolio of wines from Portugal. And believe it or not, Eric, we also have an initiative in Japan, a portfolio of 7 boutique artisanal sakes.
Wow.
Because Asian food is very popular, and whether it's Japanese, Korean, Chinese fusion, they all want sake.
All right. Thank you very much for being with us. Leonardo Locascio, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
For WineBo.
Thank you for having
me. And folks, if you have any questions or comments about anything in today's interview, you can send them to me at itsyourmoney@news12.com. We'll be right back right after this. Stay with us.